What's up? It's your boy Cito, man. Let's get into it. Now, for some reason, people believe that all the words they say mean so much and hold so much weight, and that can nobody do anything to disturb that, and they can take away from everything you've built. Well, that's why we have the Patreon, where we can go ahead and say what we want and not have to be confined, and the people decide and they pay for what they want. God said you gave a lot of game for free. It's time you get paid, Cino. I'm like, you know what? You right. Now, Manny Pacquiao had just got knocked out by Marquez. The Pacquiao Mayweather fight was heavy on everybody's minds. My YouTube channel was all about boxing. That was basically it. It was boxing, and we talked about movies. That was probably all you're gonna get out of us. Maybe some MMA, but that was normally it. It was basically no hip hop mentioned on my channel. Now, my birthday is December the 13th. I'm celebrating the Marquez victory and knockout of Manny Pacquiao. And in the process of all this, I had been in a terrible car accident that had just eviscerated my vehicle altogether. So now I have another vehicle and I'm trying to navigate life with this new vehicle that was lesser than what I had. A lot of my resources was lost because of this car accident, and of course the economic global collapse of the housing market. But there was an app with all the business opportunities and contacts I still had. There was an app that had came out that was wreaking havoc, and I'm not an app guy. So at that time I really didn't know anything about it. But I was already on a revolutionary app called Uvo. Uvo had basically what Skype had as far as face-to-face conversations, but it had something Skype didn't have, was multiple people in the screen, and you can record it. Skype didn't have that. Uvo had the technology. We had up to, I believe, four people or five people at one time. And that to me was revolutionary. Now, I believe the technology was sold to another company for multi-millions of dollars. But there was other developments going on that people didn't know about. So this will be on One Crack News later, but it's going to be on the Patreon first. You know, the Patreons get the early bird on these type of things. And here's the thing, adding a video recording and message to a photo sharing app, Snapchat. I still don't own Snapchat to this day, but I can't turn my back on what was right in front of my face. I saw it. Day after my birthday, December 14th, 2012, all their users and subscribers had already have been like addicted to Snapchat. They had about 20 million people, posting photos per day. I just was not one of them. And that was like in October of that month. I mean, of that year, 2012. People were Snapchat crazy. Then they added that new feature that just sucked everybody in. It was the new crack on the block. When they opened their app, hold on. Let me see what this is. That sounded important. And it wasn't. Sorry about that. When they opened that Snapchat, when they opened the app, it still went directly to the camera. But this time, if you press and held the button, that little circle button they got on the screen, it started to take in a video. And when you release the button, the video stopped right there. It stopped recording. That was a brilliant user experience. We all know about that now because shoot, you can do that with Instagram now, right? That technology is there. But this time that technology hadn't been developed yet. That was a brilliant experience for people to see that for the first time. It was simple, useful, and effective. That system, like the messaging, the use videos, that was it was scamless. It wasn't really easy. It was user perspective or what they even want to call. But most video recording using what they interface with at that time required you to tap on the screen twice, once to start recording, once to stop, even constantly saying, no minimal or number or whatever touches is required. Other apps like Instagram had a standard iPhone camera app, right? Which was like separate buttons that you had to toggle to find the photo. Remember that? I remember that like it was yesterday. Now everybody said, "Oh no, this stuff is trivial. Nobody care about that." Snapchat became the fastest and easiest way to open a app and immediately start capturing your videos. That eliminating that time is worth billions of dollars, people. See, what you think is tedious and what you think is trivial could be worth billions. Now, all these photo sharing apps that was out there quickly faded away and was overtaken by Snapchat. Remember Floyd Mayweather and Justin Bieber had a like Instagram app. I even forgot the name of it. It was um, where you couldn't leave a comment. You could either put a like on it or something like that, but you couldn't leave a comment. I'm like, I don't think that's gonna last. Now, but anyhow, it was a nice way to try to cut down on like hateful people, cut down on hate comments and stuff. But people, though, you make your most money off your haters than the people that subscribe to you. Now, here's the thing. They started this, like, what they did. Remember, who was that had the poke? Poke, that was Instagram's poke thing, right? So, poke was like this funny little thing that was joking around on Instagram. Poke, 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 poke. Everybody's poking each other, which is so stupid. So people had deactivated a Facebook account and had access to other apps, right? So there's this app called Poke, and it was a replica of Snapchat. It was a copy. I don't know how many people got it, but it stole Snapchat's user interface and recording video. In addition to that, it was sending disappearing photos and videos so users could like basically send disappearing text messages or even just poke each other to get their attention. Right? Like in the early days of Facebook when it was fun and weird. But there was nothing fun about poke. This was a show from like Zuckerberg and his team up north and his Facebook directors. What's his name? Blake Ross. They had a small team in development when they were coming up with the ideas for Poke. It was Mark Zuckerberg who invented poking years prior and even wrote some of the code for Poke. Even though he rarely programmed at Facebook anymore, if users dragged their messages and all their stuff and the message list all the way up to the Poke app, I'll find something to put here appeared, which is the same text Zuckerberg left at the bottom of Facebook.com back in its early days. And finally, the notification that said poke to the users when they received a message, it was like recording Zuckerberg saying poke, right? You see where I'm going with this? See, if you're trying to help convince people that they want to join you, helping them understand all the pain they would have to go through is a valuable tactic. So now you have to be intended to show people who's about their pains and struggle. Now you got Evan and Snapchat and their pain they would have to suffer to compete with Facebook. That's what Zuckerberg was sending a message to Evan and his people. So Facebook was blatantly ripping off Snapchat and trying to make a bootleg Snapchat with just poke and trying to take away from Snapchat's energy. This is how inter-tech war is done. Now, Facebook had that technology, but they faded back and tried to act like we didn't have nothing to do with poke, but they did. So, just as long as you guys understand what we're talking about here, this is an essential Facebook skin on a Snapchat ad. That's what they've done. So many journalists who have gotten over the initial impression that Snapchat was like sexting covering for Facebook's poke at that angle, I think they had test driving poke, the new app. And I remember when they tried to get a comment from the owner of Snapchat to talk about poke when they came out with their release. That sounded like all nervous energy. Evan and Bobby and his team, they were totally like coming like out and talking about Zuckerberg a few weeks prior, but now it was like here they had to put on this brave public face and hope Snapchat community stay loyal to them. Even I think Evan wanted his statement to be 3 words: "Welcome, Facebook." Seriously? You see, they love Steve Jobs and Apple and that situation. And a lot of people said, "Welcome, IBM." Seriously? See, that was a homage to that. But when a much larger giant comes into the field, everybody else has to pay homage to it. Facebook is very good at acquiring what they want. So you have to be even more on your P's and Q's. The most radical or, eccentric people would have needed heavy odds to bet on Snapchat to beat Facebook's poke. Facebook launched the app right before the holidays. The same time of the year they given Snapchat its clear liftoff for the year. And everybody's getting together, families, friends, everybody's sharing poke messaging and all of this stuff. Then poke is way to go, right? Poke shot up to the top of the apps. And I remember having a chance to really be a part of poke. And I blew it. When they was taking stock shares, your boy Cino was talking about Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao being knocked out. I was too preoccupied and so happy that Manny Pacquiao got knocked out. I'm blowing all my damn opportunities to make money here. See, whenever there's people falling out, there's money to be made. Other people from the outside see the cracks in the ceiling and they try to come in and get that money. So right away, Snapchat was, of course, knocked down to like ninth place, but Poke was at the top, and for some reason, just a week later, Poke dropped to 34th, and Snapchat rose back up to third. And I'm like, I'm confused because I'm not really a tech guy. I didn't download Poke, but Poke dropped so quick after 1 week, and Snapchat was up to third again. And they was like, how is that? Which has some of the, like, Facebook got some of the smartest people in the room. And you can't create or invent a single online behavior that would keep people addicted to Facebook? How does it, like, how does it have to look at others to come up with new user behaviors or new features, for instance? Check-ins came from Foursquare, with the short status updates and direct responses to Twitter and Facebook, where it was like nothing but variations. You got Quora offering. Poke is just yet another example. See, Poke failed to solve any of the problems for the young users. You see, and this is where the young market is. A lot of these techs are designed for younger people. They're going to be using all these techs and apps. They're the ones that are going to use it. Like, I don't use it. I hate apps. I can't stand an app. I want to use everything else. I want to use the phone book. I don't like using all these apps and downloading them on my phone and all. It's just insane to me. Hate an app. They be like, just use the app. I don't want an app. I'll fight it to the death. I'll tell you I would. Don't like apps. Now, I remember when Poke failed, right? Again, for young people, the disappearing content seemed to bother them. Now, that problem didn't exist for the older user. They didn't care about it going away. Younger people, for some reason, did. Now, Facebook's strategy with Poke was to have a family of separate, highly successful apps filling different user needs. That was the thing with like Facebook Messenger, Instagram, Poke, and Instagram has so far been Facebook's coolest property that they acquired. because they've already done all the work. And at that time they were a single photo post at a time and had much more on its immediate product roadmap other than adding some other things to it to take it to another level or plateau. Teens love Snapchat because it was not Facebook. Facebook, and people don't realize that when you're a big mega giant, you become big, you become less cool. And once you're less cool, people want the new hot thing. Snapchat had a cool name. Snapchat. One word. Snapchat me. That's cool. So Snapchat had a cool, groovy name. Poke. Ain't nothing cool about Poke. Poke is a terrible name for an app. I could have told them that from the jump. Poke me. You gonna poke me? This is so stupid. Um, Most of the friends were either on Snapchat or signing up by the day for Snapchat. They had no interest in poke messaging or with their Facebook friends or who they friends with or whatever you want to call it. So why would they all pick up and leave Snapchat to share pictures on Poke when half of the reason they went to Snapchat was to escape Facebook empire? So in 1 week, in about no 2 weeks actually, because after the first week they dropped to 34th, about 2-3 weeks in, they ain't just failed, they increased the value of Snapchat. Everybody's talking about Snapchat now. Snapchat has skyrocketed all the way up to like number one. It made people want to get Snapchat even more. Now, this is Mark Zuckerberg's fault because he tried to acquire Snapchat. And so he said, okay, if you won't join me, I'm going to make another you. They turned down $1 billion valuation, Evan did, at Snapchat, to say, F you, Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm going to do my own thing. So when they thought they were going to use their big wallet to crush Snapchat, Snapchat was nervous. But they fans and the people came through for them. Now, this is the first time because about 1 billion images has been serviced throughout Snapchat, but they hadn't been taken seriously. Many people, particularly those over 25, thought of it as a sexting app or a toy. They didn't know anything about it. So when you talk about Poke helping change the narrative of Snapchat, the logic changed from that immediately. The photos disappeared. Snapchat must be sexting. They were trying to create all these different analogies that they had, and it was just crazy. So all of those sexting apps and all that stuff with the disappearing apps, Poke just validated everything Snapchat was about. And I remember Evan, the owner of Snapchat, said Poke was the greatest Christmas present he had ever gotten. He was like, that's the greatest Christmas present I've ever gotten. Oh man, it was Poke. So now everybody was celebrating. They went from an unknown app with a couple of thousand users to over 1 million daily active users and had rejected Facebook from buying them out for $1 billion because they saw the valuation of ripping off their company and them having nothing. So they threw a Snapchat New Year's Eve party at their beachfront office, and they was chilling and everybody was having a good time. And did you realize that they was like, no photos please of the party invites? They wanted no parties in there. Nobody taking no pictures. You know, Evan is a very private person. He'll celebrate with you, but he just don't want any photos of him, nothing. So that somebody can grab, throw it on the party or Instagram or internet. Evan likes to stay quiet. But he turned down the mega giants who tried to use their wallet to crush him. But the people won. You see what I'm saying? The people. So you can have all the fancy gadgets, the platforms, and everything. The people want what the people wants. And that's the point here, people. They could do all the stuff they can with me. All these people got all this high-tech videos. They have the music in the background. They have all these things, all these items to make their video something. But then if you listen to the video, it's like, dead on the vine. So from that point, I always would say to people, have to learn. Because while all of this was going on, I was distracted. I was completely distracted when all of this was going on. I wasn't focused on my money, and I'm letting millions of dollars go past me. So that's how you can ruin yourself. This is how you can destroy what, opportunities that are right under your nose and just miss it. Just miss it. It's crazy, I know. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the page if you're new. And no matter what, people come, you guys are the reason this thing works. Because without the people, you just be talking. So the people, this one was for you. All right? I'm out.